All right, we'll
Okay.
we'll get started, and we'll start as usual with our invocation, and then we'll have a pledge of allegiance after that. So commissioners, join me and let's get started, please.
Lord, thank you for the privilege today to come back and call upon your name, Lord. We thank you for our county commissioners and the hard work they do, Lord. Thank you for this day they've set aside to take care of everything that needs to be taken care of. Give them the wisdom they need, bless them and help them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all.
Indivisible.
Thank you, Chaplain Taylor.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
All right. We've got some additions to make. We're adding a closed session. We'll add that as item 5A. Item 5A. That is
Okay, you can get off of it now.
What is that?
Huh.
I've been muted. I've been muted.
You're still on. We can hear you. And then I'd also like to add, after public comment, in item 2A, was in a meeting with James Meacham, Rod Kreider, and Elaine Spalding last week, and they've done a presentation. They're trying to get out, it's very short, to the community just about resources that are available, and I asked them if they would join us today. Might be good to get it on video so that we could share it out with the community. So I'd like to add that as item 2A. Does anyone have anything else? All right, if not, do we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if you could add the RFQ to consent.
Oh, man, you even mentioned that to me. Commissioners, do you have that, an RFQ regarding the water system, engineering RFQ? Do you have that?
What will we have it on?
Should have been forwarded to you. Aaron, did you forward that stuff to them?
Yes, sir.
It was about a booster station on the north water line, getting an RFQ. I remember I read the email myself. Let me see when that was. I think that was sent either last night or
I can, if it's okay, I can read the agenda item. The purpose of this agenda item is to request the Board of Commissioners authorize the county manager to issue an RFQ to obtain professional services from an engineering firm for the Northeast Rowan County water system. The purpose of the RFQ is to request qualification of engineering firms to provide on-call services and design of a chemical booster pump station.
I'm looking at my emails, Aaron. Was that the 12:09 a.m. email? When did you?
It was 11:33 p.m.
Last night. That was early for you. Okay. Commissioners, what would you want to add it to the active agenda? And so evidently you guys didn't get that.
No, I got it.
Got it? Jim, did you get it?
Oh, I didn't get it.
All right, let's add it as, let's make closed session item 5B, and 5A will be Aaron's item. Okay, any other additions or deletions? Aaron, anything else from you?
No, sir.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, just as a, do we have a quorum?
yes, there's 4 of us.
Okay, I'm not seeing anybody but 3 of us.
Yeah, even 3 would be, so it's myself, you, Judy, and Craig.
Okay, all right. I didn't see Craig or hear him.
You will.
Oh, there he is.
Are
Okay.
you on your gallery view up in the right-hand corner, Jim? There's a button you can click for gallery view, and you can see everybody all at once. It says exit full screen and gallery view.
That's all right, I'll get it in a minute.
Okay. All right, so do we have a motion to approve the amended agenda?
So moved.
All right, in a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you. And then minutes for the May 18th, 2020 been provided. Motion to approve the minutes as provided.
So moved.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 And then motion to approve the consent agenda, items A through I. Motion, please.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, we'll move to public comment. Randy, do we have anyone?
We'll go ahead and make another announcement if there's anyone for public comment. If you can do a raise hand, there are no dial-ins, so it's within your Zoom application. And no, sir, I'm not seeing any raise hands.
All right, then we'll move on to item 2A. And let's see, do we have James and Rod and Elaine, or any combination thereof?
Well, afternoon, guys. This is James. I'm here. April or Randy, you may want to move Rod or Elaine from attendee to panelist. I see they're in the attendee section.
Yes, sir, we've just moved them over as well.
Excellent. Thank you. You ready for us, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming.
All right. Well, thank you, guys. We'll try to be brief. Appreciate everything y'all are doing in this time for the leadership of Rowan County, and Chairman Eds that asked us to give kind of a quick update of some of the economic recovery efforts that are underway. And we'll get going from there. We've had continuous meetings between the Chamber of Commerce, EDC, and tourism and various community leaders on kind of one of the best efforts we can do moving forward. So I'm going to share my screen and just kind of give a quick update of some of the efforts that we've got underway. Let me see if I can get that.
Hey, James, before
Yeah.
you get started, could we also link in Pete Teague, the chairman of the Economic Recovery Task Force? He's on the call as well.
You're sideways and upside down, but yeah, we'll do that.
I like that.
You guys see Pete?
Yes, sir, we've just moved him over as well.
Yeah, well, Pete's chaired a lot of this effort, so let me turn it over to him real quick, and then he can kind of give a grand scheme, and then we'll go to each individual group.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Okay, yeah, I'll just briefly introduce this. Thank you, everyone. The task force was put together. It's been at least a few weeks ago now, maybe several weeks. And the purpose of the task force was to help our local businesses when it was time for them to reopen, for us to help them to do so as safely and effectively and responsibly as possible. Not for us to tell them when it was time for them to reopen. That's somebody else's job, including theirs in some cases. But the chamber, tourism, and EDC have all been very instrumental in this. A few other folks have been on the task force as well. So these three organizations in particular have done a great job, done a lot of work. And so I'm going to turn it over to them to let you know what they've put together and really what has already been rolled out. So I guess, James, we'll start with you.
Yeah, thank you. April or Randy, it just says host participant as disabled screen sharing. So just as an FYI. I don't know if you guys can swap that. There we go. All right. Everybody see the slides?
Yes, sir.
So obviously one of the very first things we did was when COVID-19 fell upon us, while the health aspects were being determined, we had to determine the economic impacts and what that meant for the community. This level of joblessness and job loss has never been seen on this scale in such short amount of time. So it was definitely unprecedented in that manner. The three organizations quickly recognized there was no central resource for all this information to be in one place. Information was moving quick. It was coming fast, both from the health sector and the economic sector. So all three of us pulled together very quickly and just put a baseline place together, which we're still using today. Visit salisburync.com/resources. Really at first to focus on two key things. What were the economic resources available for both workers and businesses? The thousands of people in Rowan County that lost their jobs, most of them had never been unemployed a day in their lives, so they weren't even really sure what to do. The rules and regulations, as we've all know, have changed with that. There was state benefits, federal benefits, different timelines. So we continued to focus on that. Then as business resources became available, we started pulling those into one place as well. That was kind of March into April as we started figuring out that there was going to be a reopening phased approach. We then shifted the resource site to focusing on that key information, what are current requirements, regulations, while still continuing to add the resources to that. There's a lot of efforts around PPP, providing information to businesses in that area, how they could get support for that, different grants through the SBA program, federal, state, and local resources, and also nonprofit resources, such as the Golden Leaf grants that have been available in the state as well. Then became time to pivot. As Pete said, we started looking at how can we help these businesses get going. So that was where we get into marketing and promoting local commerce. And then how do we adapt to the requirements in that environment? So one of the biggest things we did was we developed what we called business resource kits. We recognized there was a heavy cost burden and time burden for businesses to get back up and running, to adhere to current CDC guidelines, state regulations, state recommendations. A lot of areas specifically to cover, from employees, guest experiences, the business experience, how do they communicate what they're doing, what are their best practices. Also things, there was a need for a lot of business staff hand sanitizers, social distancing floor decals, face masks if they wanted to go that route. So we put all this information together and developed a business resource kit as well, which is an electronic PDF they could download and get all this information. We have since updated this to include some of the required health department signs and regulations that came out from the state for phase 2. After that, what we did is we then put these kits together, sent it out to the small businesses, and we've been very pleased. We've had 162 of these ordered. 148 of them have already been installed, and the 14 that haven't just came in over the weekend. So we're still seeing demand for this. We're prepared to be able to service up to 250. We've got that inventory in stock now. We're expecting probably a surge as we get closer to phase 3, because as you all know, there were many businesses left out of phase 2. And so those businesses that were not, or organizations that were not in phase 2, we're trying to help them get revved up as well. So I think those are all key resources. We're really glad to put those together. A lot of partnership with the Chamber, Economic Development Commission, different organizations like Downtown Salisbury helped out delivering on Main Street. But just been very pleased. We've also, the fact that we did all this brand work back in 2016 really just gave us a great, easy platform for everyone to be on the same page, and so that this community is focused on both business confidence, consumer confidence, and safety and health at the same time. So we're very happy with that progress. Then we wanted to focus on what are things we can do that are quote unquote permissible at first in phase 1 and then phase 2. You know, recognizing our organization is primarily focused on people external to Rowan County, but we recognize that getting commerce and the cash registers ringing locally is the most important thing right now. So we broke it up into really 4 areas, encouraging people to visit locally, shop local, eat local, and visit outdoors. We started with visit outdoors because for a while that was really the only permissible activity. So we started developing a campaign that's really going to continue into September, where we're focusing on those 4 areas. Both have some new videos coming out, digital and social media, obviously, but we really want the local community to feel that this is important, that we recognize this important. So one of the first things we did is we actually have 12 billboards that are now up, just all specific in Rowan County. One is Eat Local, one is Visit Local, one is Shop Local, and one is Visit Outdoors. In addition to that, we are securing street banners to go through as many municipalities as have poles and the ability for us to put them up, covering these areas as well: Visit Local, Shop Local, and Eat Local, so that we're really trying to focus on supporting our local businesses through this time. And so that's kind of the initial 3-step process. Process 1 was get the resources and information of the businesses. Process 2 was get them the resources they need to be able to open back up or have them available for them. All the resource kits were free. There was no charge. Nobody had to take them. We were happy to bring them to anyone that wanted them. It's been a real big mix of attractions, retail, restaurants, offices, various nonprofits, just wanting to make sure they can open in a safe and healthy way. Our hotels as well have also participated. And then the last thing is begin marketing and encouraging more commerce locally. So very pleased with the partnership with the EDC and the Chamber and the task force. They've done a lot to make this come together. And just thank you guys for y'all's leadership on the Board of Commissioners. Investment we made years back at tourism and the brand and the community rallying around that. It paid dividends up until now, but has substantially paid dividends after this because it gave us an easy rallying cry and a central point to build upon. So without anything else, I'll turn it over to Rod and give an update from the EDC on the economic recovery. Thank you.
Thanks, James.
Okay, sounds good. I want to thank everybody also for your leadership during this time, and for my partners here in the Gateway building, Elaine and James, and for Pete, all he's done to help lead us through this. We've been focusing on a few things as well. I don't have any slides to show, I don't think, but let me just run through a few of the things. Most importantly, what we were doing was maintaining outreach with our manufacturing community and other traded sector employers across Rowan County. Just as we started entering into this, Chewy was beginning their hiring process. Last time we talked to them, they had hired about 600 people so far, which was on track with where they wanted to be at this time. And they're looking now to hire an additional 800 folks to complete the hiring at that facility. So that's 1,400 jobs. And if you remember, they committed during their incentive process to 1,200. So they're already planning for above and beyond what they had originally intended to do. And we found out pretty early that because the manufacturers were deemed essential businesses, that they were kind of on the leading edge of all the health and safety issues and all the other things that other smaller businesses were having to face a few weeks later. So we were able to share some of their experiences with other businesses. We initiated a survey, an economic impact survey of all businesses across Rowan County in conjunction with 250 other economic development organizations across the country, so that we could not only measure what was happening locally, but compare that to what was happening nationwide as well. And the results were pretty frightening at first. They've been improving, but the impact was pretty hard and it was pretty swift. But like I say, they're improving. We just got our latest figures yesterday. I haven't had a chance to go through them all yet, but looking forward to seeing how we've been progressing over time. We also implemented a digital tool called Zoom Business. It's the Open for Business directory. It allows any business in the county to go online, enter information about their business, what their hours are, what safety protocols they've undertaken, whether they have the kits we've put together in place, whether they're delivering, whether they're doing curbside still, all those sorts of things to try to encourage people to shop local, buy local. And then we've initiated a couple marketing initiatives during this time. We didn't want to drop off the radar screen of our audiences. And so we did two things. One was a promotion to site selection consultants. We sent 63 of them a 6-pack of New Sarum beer with different varieties and asked them to enjoy a Rowan County refreshment while they were binging all their favorite shows during this time. And we got some really positive feedback from the consultants on that. We're getting ready to launch a smaller can be better advertising campaign in some of the print media because everybody's saying now that, you know, perhaps one of the effects of this pandemic is that companies will be looking for smaller communities that have less health risks. We wanted to take advantage of that. So we've rolled out this campaign that will be going out here in the next few weeks. Workforce development, we've been focusing on too. Initially, like I said, we were trying to help Chewy and moving people that had lost their jobs into jobs that were available at Chewy. With the help of Brian Overcash and his team at GCS, we launched Connect Rowan, which is an online tool for people to go in and submit an application for employment. And once they do that, interested employers can go in and take a look at the applicants and contact them directly. We're also initiating new digital tools. Another one of the results of this is that we're going to be seeing less personal visits from prospects, from consultants, more of the work, and it's going to be done in advance through the internet. Most of it is already done there now, but we're going to become even more reliant upon that, upon things like perhaps virtual reality tours of buildings, being able to have drone tours of different sites. All these things we're trying to get into place, anticipating what the new marketing environment for economic development may be. So those should be in place for us pretty soon. And then we've been kind of going back. Scott and I were just talking before this call. We're shoring up our properties and sites. We're taking a look at them. We have some best practices from a couple of the leading brokers that we worked with here, Don Moss and Grant Miller, who published in one of the trade magazines some guidelines for communities in terms of what they would consider to be adequate information on a site and building. So we just wanted to go back and check and make sure that we had all the information they suggested that we needed to have, and where we had deficiencies, we can work on those and get that information when they have a prospect that they would like to show here in Rowan County. So that's it for us. And I guess from there we go on to Elaine.
Thank you, Rod.
Sorry about the phone.
Thank you, Rod, and thank you, Chairman Eds, for inviting us to be part of this. Of course, the Chamber working with our existing business community and specifically focusing on an enhanced role for the Chamber with our business advocacy efforts. We've been working very hard at the federal level on all of the small business loan programs that have been announced. And of course, since the state legislature started meeting, we're also working with them on trying to make sure that all of our rules and regulations for the business community can be as smooth as possible. Most recently, we've been working on the payroll protection plan loans at the federal level and making sure that our local businesses who received that forgivable loan know what kind of records they need to keep so that that can truly be a forgivable loan for them. We've also worked on our workforce development initiatives. We were trying to attract employees to relocate to Rowan County through a military talent and attraction program. And we still want to do that. But in the next couple of job fairs, we're really going to focus on our local citizens in Rowan County that unfortunately were displaced from their positions, and really trying to help our local employers and our local displaced workers find good jobs. Hopefully throughout this effort, they may even look at some enhanced education opportunities at our local colleges and at RCCC. They have really enhanced their R3 Center to help people improve their skill sets so that they can get a better job with better benefits. And our chamber staff and volunteers have been calling all of our chamber members, just seeing how they're doing and checking in with them. We've made over 300 customer service calls just to ask folks what's keeping you awake at night and what can we do to help, and making sure they're aware of all the resources that are available to them so that we can help our local business community survive the COVID-19 crisis and hopefully thrive in the months to come. That's all we have, Chairman Eds.
Oh, well, thank you, and thank you for the update. You guys have done a lot of work, and the business community and this board certainly appreciates it. And we wanted to get this as part of the record so that folks will be able to see what's going on. So thank you. I mentioned to you guys, I think last week, that this all doesn't come together at once. This has been going on for years and years now, really beginning with the rebranding and marketing. And this is just a natural flow from that. And so James and Elaine, Rod, we appreciate you guys and thank you for keeping us posted. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank
I have a
you.
question.
yes, ma'am.
Elaine, in
Yes.
your calls that you're doing and conversations out in DC, are you exploring at all what help is available for our nonprofits?
Yes, in fact, I didn't mention the number of webinars that we've done, but we have had several of our not-for-profit organizations attend and participate in the webinars that we've had. And we're actually working together with our Gateway partners on some additional webinars for our not-for-profit organizations. As you know, our United Way really stepped up to the plate with the Salisbury Post for the COVID-19 Relief Fund. And there are a number of our not-for-profit organizations that are benefiting from our local community donors. So please, if you're listening out there in Rowan County and you have not yet given to the United Way Fund, please do.
Commissioner Klusman, I did want to reference that the PPP program was obviously available for C3s, C4s and C6s were not included. If there are C3 organizations in Rowan County that have not taken advantage of that program that still want to, there's about $100 billion left in that program. And you can still get those applications processed and approved. So some of that is available as well. One area that did come up on our task force meeting is arts and culture, specifically as an industry that has been unable to reopen in North Carolina. Many of the organizations that we know locally, your Piedmont Players, your Lee Street Theater, other places like Rowan museums are quote unquote closed still. So their abilities to generate revenues with gatherings and events is also challenging. So some of the panelists specifically asked us to look at that. The National Endowment of the Arts has received a substantial amount of CARES Act money, but unfortunately most of that has gone to large scale nonprofits, your Smithsonian's, your larger state sites and museums, and even then it's really gone to state governments as opposed to the individual nonprofits and arts and cultures that we know. So we're trying to see what other avenues come down the pipe to maybe loosen up some of that federal money that just made it to the large endowments. But that, unlike PPP trickled all the way down to where we had groups getting $6,000, $7,000 loans to bridge a gap. But the arts and cultural nonprofits, the local ones nationally, were not really touched with the CARES Act, as I think many people hope they would. So we're aware of that, and we're going to keep trying to work for that.
Well, I appreciate that because I'm involved with a very small nonprofit, and technically they only have one full-time employee, and then they've got other folks that are basically contract part-time. So the PPP program really didn't apply to them. But if you hear of anything else, please let me know so I can share that with them.
We'll do.
We'll do that. We'll do that.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Judy. All right, we'll move to item number 3, and Shane Stewart for SNIA 01-20.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. I think the board's pretty comfortable with these type of requests at this point, but the owner, Pat Musey, has a lot in Gateway Park, and it would be the final development plan proposed for that site. All other 15 lots received an intensity allocation, but they would like to build an 8,400 square foot storage building that would house their parts associated with the race team that they have in Mooresville. So this would be, I think, the 81st parcel the board would have considered in the Cottle Creek watershed. So request meets all standards of approval. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
All right, any questions, Shane? So this just requires a board vote, doesn't it, Shane?
That's correct.
All right, going once, twice, three times. Any questions for Shane? All right, then do we have a motion to approve SNIA 01-20?
So moved.
Motion Craig and a second, Miss Judy. And any other discussion? All right, hearing none. Oh, all right, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, Shane, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, item number 4, this comes from Finance Department regarding Dan Nicholas Park concession stand project.
Hi, this is Leslie Heydrich. I believe that Don Bringle and also Pete Vogel are on this call, and I believe they want to speak on this subject.
See Pete, and unfortunately we see, we see Pete and Don. Man, good heavens, Don.
Yeah, gotta get a haircut.
Pete doesn't have that problem.
I don't need one.
No.
Well, listen,
Pete would say, which one? Which hair do I need cut? All right, Don, go ahead. I'm sorry.
that's fine, not a problem. Well, listen, Mr. Chairman and County Commissioners, do appreciate the opportunity to come before you with the request with the Dan Nicholas concession stand. As some of you know, this has been a process that's been ongoing for about 3 years. And with the help of Pete Bogle and his firm, we were very successful in going through the process. And I'm going to, at this point, allow Pete, if he would, he's got a brief presentation here, just kind of recap what we have that we're proposing for this concession stand at Dan Nicholas Park. Pete?
All right, I believe I have the ability to share my screen here. And I'm assuming you guys are seeing that?
Yes.
All right. So very quickly, you guys are familiar with the project, but just a quick recap. Purpose of this project is for offices and concessions. Quickly over here in this graphic, you can see that this green color represents the concessions. The gray is the public restrooms, and then the orange color is the office section. And down here, you can see how it lays out on the site plan, all overlooking the lake off of the existing parking lot. All right, and then of course the construction drawings, we've already been through all of those, and how the plans actually came together. The quick images of a concept model of the project overlooking the lake. You can see the concession stand area, the public restrooms, and then the back of the office section here, the existing pier that's out on the lake. One of the bridges is over here, and the other bridge is other side. It's coming up a little bit closer on it. These models represent what the building was designed for in the base bid, which was hardy board or cementous siding. We'll talk about one of the alternates when we get there. Moving around to the east side of the building and to the south side that joins the parking lot, and around the west. and then back around to the concession stand area. And then one of the bid alternates that was requested by Commissioner Member Pierce was to look at brick on the building. So we did that. We had that in the bid documents as well. And this is the design of how that ended up. Before bid date, we actually had 21 interested bidders. This one was a very popular project, shall we say. Building in the spring, early summer, right beside of a lake. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I have heard contractors saying that their employees are looking forward to their lunch breaks and a fishing rod. The project bid got backed up a little bit when the pandemic things happened. So we backed it up from the original bid date to the date of May 14th was selected. There was some need to speed it up then a little bit for the county to be able to get everything in that they needed to. So we moved it back to the 7th, and on May 7th, by the way, all these interested bidders were kept up to speed with all of that, so nobody was surprised. On May 7th, we had 7 bidders to show up, and those are listed on your screen here. The low bidder, well, I should go through the base bid. We had 4 different alternates. Alternate 1 was to use asphalt shingles instead of the standing seam metal roof. That was a deduct alternate. Alternate 2 was an add alternate to add the brick. Alternate 3 had to do with using aluminum clad wood windows instead of aluminum storefront. This one ended up being a little bit odd, and I can't really say why. Aluminum storefront is a much higher quality product and is always more expensive. For some reason, there were a couple of contractors who actually put an ad in to go to aluminum clad wood windows. So of course we wouldn't want to do that. And then the low bidder actually just put 0 as the value amount. And then the last alternate was to, the base bid assumed that we were going to reuse an existing generator that the county has. And then the alternate number 4 was to install a new generator, an automatic transfer switch, and annunciator. You can see with the low bids where they came out, Salcoa Construction, Salisbury, was the clear low base bid. They also had good alternate prices, so there was no issue of, well, if you accept alternate 1 but not 2, it may change who the low bidder is. It was a very clear low bid. From there, here's their actual bid on bid day using Graham's Piping for plumbing and HVAC, a local firm. Then you can see some of the other firms that they're using. Sunshine Roofing is another local firm. And then there's their alternates and totals. From there, the county issued us this from the finance department that they were going to accept the alternates 1, 2, and 4. They did not accept alternate 3, even though it was a 0 amount. By not accepting it, that means that we are going to get the aluminum storefront windows, which are the higher quality windows on the project. And so alternate 1, 2, and 4, accepting those brings the base bid up to, or the final bid up to $886,800. And then they've also sent me a request for budget action. I guess that's one of the things you guys will be looking at here today, to add $41,800 to this project. And then I've also, in your packet that I sent you, have the full contract ready to go with Salcoa. The only couple of things to note here is that the owner accepts alternates 1, 2, and 4, declines number 3. And then if you scroll all the way to the last page, you'll see that Danny Powell, president of Salcoa, has already signed it and it's ready to go. So glad to take any questions if you guys have any.
It's a local company, right?
They are, yes, sir.
Excellent.
And so Pete, these alternates, or the contract, will that include a steel roof then?
It does not. By accepting alternate number 1, we are accepting the deduct price to go from a metal roof to an asphalt shingle roof. So the building
Okay,
has a shingle roof on it.
thanks.
Why did we do that? I mean, trying to fit into kind of a, I don't know, it's a park, metal roof. Why did we get rid of the metal roof?
It was a budget decision. Obviously, if you guys want to use the metal roof, I think maybe not all, but most of the other buildings there on the campus have a standing seam metal roof on them.
And so are we convinced that brick is the way to go? What does that fit in aesthetically? I know you said you were looking at Hardy Plank before.
The other buildings on campus do have shiplap siding, which is what we were proposing doing with to fit the architectural language that's already there. We only looked at the brick because Commissioner Pierce requested it, and brick, of course, is a long performing product. So I'm sure that's what he had in mind with why wouldn't we consider using brick? It would be, I do believe, the only major building on the campus that is brick, but it is separated from most of the other buildings.
Pete, going back to the steel roof, what's the difference between the asphalt shingle and steel roof?
24 grand, 25 grand.
Yeah.
25 grand? Okay.
4,725.
Oh, there it is. Okay, thanks.
Craig, what do you want to do on this?
Well, my opinion on it is brick is permanent, requires very little to no maintenance. I'm not against spending the extra 24,000 to put the metal roof on it. I think it would be low maintenance long term. I look at some of the school buildings that we're tearing down that are 110 years old, they're brick and they haven't required any maintenance. And that was my concern is, for the difference of, they're all over the place, but for $26,000, I'd rather have a building that we build it and it's done. I mean, with the metal storefront that you're putting in for the windows, there's no maintenance there. Put a steel roof on it, there's no maintenance there. I mean, the idea is to build it and not have to keep maintaining it forever.
I really would like to see a metal roof on it too. I know it's more money, but like Craig said, as far as upkeep and maintenance, you're just not really going to have to do anything to it unless a hurricane comes through and blows it off.
Well, if you think that'll fit in there, I agree on the metal roof.
I believe the metal roof would actually help it fit with the other buildings on campus, even though that would be the only brick one. Having that kind of signature green standing metal seam roof that those other buildings have, it would help it fit in.
Folks, I have metal shingles on my house and I have a metal roof at the office that I own, and $24,000 is a lot of money, but you're going to be more satisfied with that metal roof 10 years from now. Asphalt shingles are great, but 12, 14 years from now at the most, you're going to be replacing that roof. And that metal roof is going to last you a long time, and fitting in with the other buildings down there, it really is going to be worth the money, in my opinion.
Don, is this all going to fit in?
Yes, sir. I mean, it tickles me to hear you say that. I mean, again, it's what Pete said. We showed the deduct because we knew where the cost numbers were coming in at, and we needed, some room there for that. I agree. A standing seam roof will last for many, many years. Also with the brick facade that goes around, that is going to be a highly used area. A lot of people around there, a lot of people propping on it, leaning on, and the brick will last. We were looking at a budget amendment of $1,800. Adding this $24,725 is going to change that to $66,525. But I fully support the recommendation to do that, providing that we can allocate the additional funds of $24,725.
All right, go on here.
I'd just like to make one clarification. The budget will increase by, the budget amendment that is in your packet increases the budget by $86,800. However, the $41,800 is having to come from county funding. The Parks has in donations $45,000 additional dollars to put toward this. So total expenditure increase, adding the $24,725, will take the budget amendment to $111,525, with the county picking up the $66,525. And I'm in agreement. I think that the metal roof is will be a great addition for the parks.
All right, any other discussion, questions for Pete or Don?
Greg, I would ask if we pass this successfully, I would ask the board to consider allowing the county manager to execute the contract so that we can move forward without that having to come back before the Board of Commissioners in 2 weeks. And this way we can go ahead and begin the process, because they're looking to begin in June. This will help us as far as that. But we would need a motion to allow the county manager to be able to execute the contract.
All right, then do we have a motion to approve the construction bid for the Dan Nicholas Park concession stand with those, with the metal roof and the brick veneer and those numbers that Leslie laid out for us, and then give our county manager the authority to execute that contract and as Don said, in a couple weeks.
So moved.
All right.
Jim, you need a second, or you're on the Parks Board.
Well, I thought I did the first.
Well, you can have the first.
Give me the first. I want to be first on this.
All right.
In honor of that mustache, we're going to let you go first. All right.
Thank you so much. That's the first thing I've got out of it.
Is that it? All right. So Jim is a motion. Judy has a second. Any other discussion? All right. Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed. Pete, thank you. It's good to see you. Maybe I'll see you at church sometime.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, Don.
Greg, thank y'all. I appreciate it.
Sir. All right, item 5, we have some board appointments to make. The Central Line of Workforce Development Board, Mike Beaver and Louis Goldsmith applied for reappointment. Do we have a motion to approve those two?
So moved.
A second?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jonathan Barbie applied for the Historic Landmarks Commission for reappointment for a 3-year term. Motion and a second to approve Jonathan Barbie.
So moved.
Second.
Don't be shy. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Then on JCPC, I'll go through these. We need a juvenile defense attorney. So John Basinger has applied for reappointment for a 2-year term. The sheriff's designee, Christopher Scott Flowers, he's been serving on the council, filling a seat as a member of the general public. But Sheriff Oughton has requested that Sergeant Flowers be appointed to serve as the sheriff's designee. From the general public, Jenny Lee with the Rowan County United Way applied for a general public seat that's vacated then by Scott Flowers. From a nonprofit agency, Jason Scott Henson for reappointment for a 2-year term. The school superintendent designee, Carol Ann Hope, applied for a reappointment for a 2-year term. And from the mental health area, Tressie McLean Hickey applied for reappointment to a 2-year term. So do we have a motion to approve all of those appointments?
So moved.
So moved.
All right, Craig motion and Judy second. All in favor, say aye.
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 And then Rowan Cabarrus Community College Board of Trustees, Michelle Patterson applied for a 4-year term. So if approved, that term would be effective July 1 and expire June 30th in 2024. Motion to approve Michelle Patterson.
So moved.
All right, and then Craig was a motion and Judy second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we'll move to item 5A. That's Aaron's item on the water system. Let's see here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Basically, this is a request that the board authorize the manager to issue an RFQ for on-call professional services from an engineering firm for the Northeast Rowan County water system. The purpose for the request is to seek a qualified engineering firm to provide on-call services and to design a chemical booster pump station. If this is approved, we'll issue the RFQ this week and hopefully have a contract back before you in July.
All right, so I was reading, Aaron, how do you want this motion to read? That we approve the RFQ for engineering firm?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else?
I just kind of wanted to make the board aware that we were going to issue the RFQ and get your approval.
Yes, sir.
So that when we bring a contract back to you, you would be aware of it.
Okay, then I'll make the motion that we approve our management team, Aaron, put out an RFQ for the engineering firm for the Northern Water System.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then let's see, our next item is going to be closed session. Let's see here. So we're going to have the closed session. Following our closed session, we will recess until 6 p.m. for a public hearing on the 2021 operating budget. So after we take a motion to go into closed session, then after we come out of closed session, we'll recess, okay? And commissioners, I think we've been given an audio bridge for a closed session. So we would call in for that, okay? All right, so I move that the board now enter closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A3 for attorney-client privilege communication to discuss matters relating to leases at the West End Plaza and for attorney-client communication regarding the lease at Mid-Carolina Regional Airport. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
All right, and second? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Very much. We'll end this Zoom and then we'll move to an audio bridge. Okay, thank you. Okay, we're coming out of closed session. We have a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
All right, and a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, and so we will stand in recess until 6 o'clock. So we'll see you then.
Okey doke.
Thank you. Well, it's a little after 6. Everyone ready?
Yep.
All right, so this is our third meeting today. We had a budget workshop at 1, a regular monthly meeting at 3 o'clock this afternoon, which we did not adjourn. We recessed until 6 o'clock tonight, which is the current hour. And so this part of our meetings today is for public hearing for proposed fiscal year 2021 operating budget. We'll still be accepting written comments, and those can be submitted to budget.hearing@rowancounty.nc.gov. And written comments regarding the budget will be accepted through 5 o'clock p.m. No, that's going to be longer than that, Aaron, isn't it? We had June 5th, but I think we're going to extend it even beyond that. And I wrote it down. Aaron, are you on there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
If you could extend it to Friday, June 12th, just to provide a little bit additional time for comments due to the unusual nature of coronavirus and having the public hearing on Zoom.
Yep. So we'll extend that to the following Friday, which will be June 12th till 5 p.m. If you wish to listen and participate in today's public hearing, you may do so in the manner provided below. The length of comment for each caller wishing to address the board will be limited to 3 minutes, and comments shall be restricted to the budget of the hearing as advertised. And so today is Monday, June 1, and we welcome you to Rowan County Commission meeting. We hope you're faring well under the circumstances of this Zoom and all of this, and we're appreciative that you're with us. So we'll go ahead and open the floor to public comment, and Randy, you can just bring them forward one at a time.
Thank you. April will be assisting with the unmuting.
Okay, Ms. Fink, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cindy Fink, and I am with Meals on Wheels, Rowan. First, I'd like to thank you all for the 2019-2020 allocation and let you know that we're now providing home delivered meals to 285 individuals and are serving 75 individuals additional meals, anywhere from 2 extra meals to 9 extra meals per week due to the COVID crisis. The number of our participants has grown by 20% since March, and the number of meals served per week has grown exponentially. As part of our effort to support our county's response to the COVID-19 crisis, we are also delivering USDA food boxes for Rowan Helping Ministries to their clients who cannot or should not leave their homes. And to date, we've delivered 87 meals to 87 of their clients. We're supporting Meals on Wheels participants and other adults across the county who are at high risk for infection by purchasing and delivering groceries and paper supplies. To date, we have provided groceries and supplies to 105 individuals. Our goal for 2020, as you all were aware, was to consistently provide 275 individuals with home delivered meals each Monday through Friday, and to support our participants at high risk for food insecurity with weekend meals. Due to an increase of 10.2% in meal costs, the Home Care Community Block Grant for 2021 will only feed 21 individuals in the coming year as compared to 23 individuals last year. But thanks to the generosity of donors and grantors, with your help, County Commissioners, we are on track to meet our goal over the next 6 months if we get the amount over $83,000 we requested from you. We are pleased to announce that a local food service provider has begun preparing home delivered meals. We contracted with them on March 9th. This means that over $325,000 of our expenditures will stay in Rowan County. We're very happy about that, and let you know that the sales tax also stays in Rowan County. We ask for your support of an allocation of $83,530 to Meals on Wheels Rowan to support the homebound seniors in Rowan County. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And before we go on to the second one, because I'm prone to forget things, I received a prod from our county attorney. And because we are extending the public comment time to June 12th, he asked that we do that in a form of a motion and that we pass that. So I'll make that in a form of a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, and Mike, welcome. Good to hear from you. All right, Randy?
Okay, our next participant is Mr. Benson. Mr. Benson, you have the floor.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, County Commissioners, and the staff for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here as a citizen and a member of the Rowan County Board of Elections. It has been good for the Rowan citizens that you have given incentives to companies like Chewy, Project Gauge, Hinkle, InnoSpec, Auto Group, and Home Goods for expansion and relocation of their businesses here. Economic base is very important. According to what I heard in one of your April meetings, revenues have increased each of the last 3 years, steadily increasing the rainy day fund. In the past year, you have made financial commitments to Rowan Salisbury Schools, Rowan Airport, Animal Services, the Gateways, and Rowan County Parks. Now it's time to fully fund the requested budget for the Board of Elections. The coronavirus funds, if fully available, allow the Board of Elections to have clean, protected, and safe election sites for voters and poll workers alike. The requested budget from the Board of Elections is to make voting more accessible to Rowan citizens. The requested budget by the director is at the direction of the majority of the Rowan County Board of Elections. I respectfully ask you to approve the fully requested amount. Any cut to the requested funds would endanger our electoral process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benson. April?
All right, our next public comment comes from Mr. Hoyt. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, now am I on?
You are good.
Okay, very good. I thought I was for starters. Anyhow, thank you very much, commissioners, for the time that you spend in meetings. I don't think we can say thank you enough for public servants doing what you do. There's just an awful lot of time involved that I don't think the public necessarily recognizes or thanks you for enough. So that's the first thing that I'd want to say this evening. Secondly, I'd like to just second the comments of our member of the Board of Elections, George Benson, who spoke just a moment ago. I think the request budget that was put together by the Board of Elections staff is extremely important. I think we just kind of assume that, oh, we all vote, okay, that's fine. They'll make do with what is they've done in the past, maybe a little here or a little there to change depending upon a specific amount in their budget. But it's good to take a step back and say the legitimacy of our entire governmental process in this country of democracy is based upon voting. And so when we hear from our people who do the nitty-gritty of this, as Board of Election Commissioners, listen to public comment coming to them and it all gets put together in a request budget, I think this just undergirds and underscores the legitimacy of our whole system of government. I would encourage you as county commissioners to support the request budget that the Board of Elections has presented to you. I know you found ways to add to what was done in the last cycle, but please seriously consider the request budget, which will include additional times for early voting, which were made very clear the request of many people of the public. And I would hope that you could find ways to include this in the budget for our next budget cycle. Again, thank you very much for your time, for your energy, for your taking seriously the tasks which you have been elected to by the people who put together the whole elections process. So thank you very much. I wish you well on what you are doing this evening and in the coming months to fund us through this difficult time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hoy. Good to hear from you. April?
Okay, and next up is Ms. Pam Bloom.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. I've lived in Rowan County for over 30 years, and I do love it here. And I was glad to hear today at your meeting on the budget, your discussion about the long overdue broadband incentives. I did find it disappointing that it was an afterthought and not included in the original budget proposal. It isn't as if people in the county, particularly the western end, haven't been asking for years. It's sad that just February 22nd, we had See Democracy Work event, and it was at the Scotch-Irish Fire Department about this, and it didn't seem to have any impact on our commissioners. I do hope to see real actions about this from our county and not empty promises of the past. But speaking of promises, it was good to hear commissioners thinking ahead with an increase for a longer lasting building at Dan Nicholas. I applaud that thinking ahead. I wish you put that much value in our Rowan Board of Elections. Since 2016-17 and forward, you have not fulfilled the requested budget request from the Board of Elections Director. Now, I know we have a staff that's managed each year with what you deem worthy, but what an insult to the current and past director and their staff and to the people. Aren't our elections as important as the long-term planning of a concession stand at Dan Nicholas? The county manager has proposed an increase to the Board of Elections budget that you underfunded last year. There's been mention of adding the CARES Act funds, but those haven't been approved by the North Carolina Senate, so we don't know if we'll have those or not. A presidential election in 2020 is not a time to be less than fully committed to funding our local Board of Elections. In addition, our elections board voted to make voting more accessible to all Rowan voters with additional weekend days. There was a large public outturn for that. I've been unable to find any kind of definitive information as to whether those CARES Act funds can be used for anything other than sanitizing and coronavirus-related tasks. So commissioners, you've said it, be original. Don't compromise when it comes to our United States election process. Please listen to the people. You are our representatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bloom. April?
Okay, seeing no other. Sorry about that. We don't have anyone else for public comment, so we'd like to extend another invitation. If you're using the Zoom app, you can utilize the raise your hand feature. to be able to, for us to take your information to have you unmuted. If you're in by dialing in, you can press *9 to be recognized.
And we'll wait for a minute to see if anyone zooms in.
Not seeing anyone at this time, sir.
All right. Is there anything else on that agenda? I don't think so. I did speak to each of you and let you know that we've had a lot of conversation surrounding the COVID issues. I know that was brought up quite a bit today. And we've had a lot of folks come to us also asking about just, you know, how Rowan County fits into the recovery. And so we've put together a letter to Governor Cooper, and I'd like to ask the commissioners if we would make a motion to approve a adjustment or addition to the agenda here. I'd like to offer up this letter. Do we have a motion to do that?
So moved.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 So we wanted to provide a letter to Governor Cooper, letting him know what we're doing here in the community in response to the COVID issue, and then kind of ask for his help. So I'll go ahead and read this, and we'll be happy to provide this. I assume the post is on here. To the Honorable Roy Cooper, dear Governor Cooper, on behalf of the wonderful people of Rowan County, I'd like to thank you for the hard work that you and your team have provided through this COVID-19 pandemic. We send you well wishes as you continue to make difficult decisions that are in the best interest of every citizen of North Carolina. During the economic downturn a decade ago, Rowan County really took it on the chin. While most North Carolina communities faced considerable challenges, economic hardship hit our community especially hard. Single-day job losses that numbered in the thousands contributed to Rowan County being one of the hardest hit communities in the nation. Our families, children, schools, and spirits took quite a hit. Not long ago, we rallied together to begin the hard work of renewing our community. We rebuilt our economic development team, invested in our airport and critical infrastructure, created an aggressive branding and a marketing plan. We embarked on creating a brand new K-12 platform that would reimagine the educational experience for every single student in the Rowan-Salisbury school system as North Carolina's only renewal district. In addition, we're streamlining and bringing best-in-class efficiencies to our development process, systematically addressing employee pay structures, investing heavily in our community college workforce development facilities and programming, and creating collaborative educational partnerships between our public schools, our community college, and private four-year colleges. These initiatives are designed to address current workforce demands and also help us attract greatly needed high-quality employers and jobs of the future. And thanks to the NCDOT, the completion of the I-85 expansion in Southern Rowan County will help greatly improve safety and facilitate greatly needed jobs for our community. Finally, our jobs are coming back, our economy is coming back, but most importantly, our positive spirit is coming back. For the first time in a long time, there's a real sense of hope and optimism in our municipalities and throughout our county. And this new spirit has encouraged people to take steps to improve themselves, their families, and their futures. We've seen a significant business resurgence in our community. Restaurants and badly needed retail are now investing in Rowan County, helping put a significant dent in our retail leakage numbers. New small businesses powered by the passion, dream, and sweat of hardworking entrepreneurs are bringing renewed hope and opportunity throughout every corner of our community. Governor, our progress has not come easy. It has taken tremendous amount of dedication, commitment, and work from a lot of good people and good organizations. However, as the fruits of our labor are finally being realized, the COVID crisis has slammed the brakes on our resurgence. Once again, we are experiencing the loss of thousands of jobs, watching businesses close, and seeing dreams shattered. We understood the initial need to shut things down in North Carolina. This disease was largely unknown, and we all accepted the advice of federal and state leadership based on the models that were initially available. But as real data replaces models, and as each county begins to understand their own specific localized data, we believe it's reasonable for counties to be given the latitude to design and implement a more tailored, localized approach to their reopening strategies. Governor Cooper, it is with great respect that we request you allow our Board of Commissioners, County Health Department, Emergency Services personnel, the leadership of our Novant and Salisbury VA Hospital, Chamber of Commerce, and other appropriate organizations to decide based on our own specific data, experience, and circumstances how to reopen our community. In short, we know our community. Since this crisis began, we have been conducting virtual meetings every morning with elected leaders from across the county, all 10 of our municipalities, key nonprofits and partner organizations, health department, and emergency services. In addition, a management team meets every afternoon to discuss data, trends, and guidance. County leadership communicates with the press routinely to discuss recent data, and with the leaders of Novant Rowan Medical Center and the VA Medical Center to check on their staff, current patient, bed, and ventilator count, PPE supply levels, and employee morale. Sadly, Rowan County's numbers have been tragically hit by significant breakouts in a few of our congregate living facilities, accounting for 210 of our positive test results and all but 2 of our 4 COVID-related deaths. As we continue to mourn the loss of these valuable and loved members of our community, our local and state health departments have been working diligently with our congregate care facilities. In fact, our local health department has created dedicated a full-time congregate care specialist position to work directly with these facilities to assist them. In addition, there are 6 testing locations, including drive-in sites, to provide quick and easy access to testing in our community. Our Chamber of Commerce, Tourism Authority, and Economic Development Commission has partnered together to create an economic recovery task force, producing free, high-quality business resource kits containing safety signs, awareness signs, social distancing, floor decals, hand sanitizer, employee face mask, know your W's signs, and emergency capacity signs. They have provided significant education and instruction on best practices for our businesses to employ upon reopening. Governor Cooper, we know our community and we want what is the very best for our community. We are working night and day to provide for the health and safety of our citizens, but we also fully understand that a community's health and its economy are inseparable. According to a study published in the Journal of Health and Physics, being unemployed increases the risk of death by 4% and reduces life expectancy by 1.4 years. The unemployed are more likely to have heart attacks, strokes, drug and alcohol-related problems, suffer from depression and anxiety, and are more likely to commit suicide. While reopening our county certainly comes with risk, keeping many of our businesses in lockdown means keeping many of our people unemployed, and being unemployed also presents our citizens and our community with considerable health risks. We need your help to move Rowan County forward. You can do that by empowering our local leaders, health department, emergency services professionals, and hospital leaders to work together to make determinations on how to reopen our communities and economies in a safe and thoughtful way. Again, we want to thank you for the work and guidance that you and the members of your team have provided during this critical time. Sincerely, and that will be provided by the Board of Commissioners to not only the governor, but to Mandy Cohen and others. So we certainly want to be, I think we've shown as a county in stepping forward and working diligently through this COVID crisis that we've worked with and for the municipalities and worked very well with all of these organizations to put together a tremendous program here. And now we're working with others on plans for opening up. And so we want to not only be a voice for these health related organizations, we also want to be a voice for our businesses and those folks who are unemployed and looking forward to getting back to work and providing for their families. So if this passes, then we'll make a few copies of this and send it to Raleigh. All of us would sign this. And so I make that in a form of a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All right. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Yes.
I think it would be good if we just reassure the public that our emergency management and health department are going to be very, very involved in this process. I'm sure for many people, this is going to be scary if we do get this permission. I'm one of those people that has underlying health issues. And so even when they say, okay, you can go out, I don't know that I will. I'd like to stick around for my grandkids. But I'm going to support this letter. And I think that we have a really good team. And hopefully this will bring us along quicker to getting back to our new normal and getting people back to work.
So good. There's a couple of things I want to let you know. I did have conversations with the head of our emergency services and spoke with him about this. He understands and has said that he knows that we have to get back to this point, and also spoke with the director of our health department. She understood this, and certainly we don't want to do anything separate from these folks. This is a team effort. It has been from the start, would continue to be. I would envision that what would happen at this point is that there would be a team that's put together that would make recommendations specific to our community that would include our business community, but also our health and safety, health department, emergency services, some county departments, and I'll leave folks out, so I'll stop there. But this wouldn't be the commissioners making these decisions alone. This would be a team effort. Also, so you know, the Rowan County Chamber of Commerce has endorsed this letter. Also, the Rowan County Tourism Authority has addressed this letter, and I know it went before the EDC, and I just did not hear back from Rod yet. If they did, let me see. Yes, from the EDC. So the EDC endorses this as well. So we want to be thoughtful. We want to fight for everybody. We have shown how seriously we've taken this, and we have taken the recommendations from our emergency services and health department and the governor to heart. And so we've certainly fought for all that. And now we want to turn slightly and begin to focus on what does reopening look like, and make sure that's done in a healthy way, but also put some real community focus on getting back what it feels like we've lost over the last few months. So we've got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say that, to put the county citizens at ease, that it's awful hard for a governor to have a state this size and be able to have one size fits all type planning. You know, we're basically a rural county. We don't have a lot of major cities. And to hold us back from opening up our county because of cities like Charlotte, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, Raleigh, Durham, which are large metropolis areas, which has a different type of feel about those areas, as well as they have a different set of circumstances that we do. So I applaud you for bringing this up. I think it's a great thing that we're trying to do. And I want to assure the citizens we're going to keep their safety in mind as we move forward. But we can't be held back by metropolitan areas that have a different set of circumstances and keep our economy shut down here when we're rural areas. So I think having the capabilities of making our own decisions based on our own set of circumstances is the only logical way to proceed.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anything else? All right, hearing none, then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Mike, it's good to hear you. Anything going on with you?
No, just same old thing.
Same old thing. Well, for those onlookers, Mike is serving in the reserves right now, and it's good to have him here with us by Zoom. We miss seeing you, so hope you return soon to us.
He's had some important activities, sir, Mr. Chairman. Mike has been up with a team giving out meals and being on the front line with this coronavirus fight. So I think we ought to thank him for what he is doing and applaud all of our folks that have been on the front line helping in this at this time.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
All right. If there's nothing else, then do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right. A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Have a good night.
You too.